What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and you're watching the Monday Weekly Market Watch, where we go over Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. I want to start off this Monday Market Watch by talking about some results from a big tournament that happened this weekend. There was a 5K Saturday tournament hosted by World Class Cards. Lore Keepers in, shout out Katie and 20 Lore Pro. And as you can see here from this information, most of this top 16 consists of Sapphire decks. And actually, there's only 1, 2, 3 decks that are not Sapphire in this entire top 16. A couple outliers as consisting of Emerald Amber. We have Amber Steel and Ruby Amethyst as well. Shout out these players. Shout out all the players for doing well, but it is a Sapphire dominated meta, and it has people discussing whether or not we need a ban list, we need an errata for some of these cards, and a bunch of other discussions that are happening. But the reason we're talking about it is because we're going to take a look at the meta trends in the market today and see how this is impacting that. This isn't the only tournament that happened this weekend with a bunch of players. This was a tournament that had more than 100 players, and there was a bunch of tournaments this weekend where most of the top cut was Sapphire oriented. A couple different outliers in the meta right now, like green purple, green yellow, ruby amethyst, and we're going to be able to see what cards are going up and down based off of these results. Starting off with everybody's favorite legendary, Tamatoa Happy as a Clam, still selling for more than $50. Today, the lowest verified is the BD Sales for $53.65, then $54.35 right here with some extra shipping by J Squared. So you're going to have to pay more than $50 still for this Tamatoa. I don't think this is going to go down in price anytime soon, but the cold foil price did come down, right? So you're paying about $20 more, almost like $15 more for a cold foil here by Mystic Falls TCG, $68.83 with $1 shipping. Not too shabby if you want to get your shiny crabs, because there is an enchanted version of this card, so that's the highest rarity. Usually when that happens with legendaries, as we know, it ends up being that the cold foil legendaries are not too much more expensive than the non-foil. But this is the reason why I didn't think this card was ever going to go down in price, at least not anytime soon, because it is just so popular right now to play Sapphire in the meta, and this is the card that makes it one of the best decks, almost tier 0. Outside of like Popsicle, Flavor Sham, Lucky Dime, this card has the ability to just net you pluses for free, pretty much. And you get to ramp into this card and play it way earlier than the opponent if they're not playing Sapphire. As we saw in those outliers, we did see Amber Steel and Amber Emerald being popular in this meta. When a lot of people are playing Steel decks, I think Rapunzel definitely stands out because she's one of the best cards you can play in Amber. Remove 3 damage, up to 3 damage, and you draw a card for each one, right? And a lot of the Steel removal is Storm Rage on, Strength of a Raging Fire, Zeus, stuff like that. So it'll deal damage to certain characters, and meaning that you get to play into Rapunzel a lot more than like other decks, right? So I do think using Amber in combination with some other colors is really strong right now, and Rapunzel does kind of make those decks still tier 1, I think. So I do think Rapunzel is very relevant in this meta, whether you're playing Amber Steel or Emerald Amber. And today the lowest verified is still going to be around $50+. We have the Dragon's Vault New Jersey for $46 and $5 shipping. Then it jumps a little bit higher than $50 here by One Hit KO Games, around $53.95 with shipping included for a non-foil Rapunzel. And if you want cold foil Rapunzels, these are going to be getting close to $90 again. $82.44 is Blue Cat Games lowest verified. Then it jumps to $87 by Titan Cards. Japanese foil Rapunzel listed for $90, $89 with shipping included basically. And then we start seeing $89, $85, then $95 right here from some non-verified sellers. So cold foil Rapunzels are still keeping their price above the $80 mark, which is nice to see. And if you've been playing Rapunzel since set 1, I urge you to just hold on to these, because they're going to be relevant until this card gets either rotated out or something. But this is like one of the best cards you can play in Amber, and I think this is what makes Amber decks really powerful this meta. My only thing with Rapunzel is that when you play against like really good players, they will not play into your Rapunzel. Also against the Ruby decks, which is pretty much Ruby Sapphire, it's a little bit harder to resolve your Rapunzel. Most of the time, they don't even have many characters for you to get value off of this card, or they're playing Sharks or Flavor Shams, and you can't even really swing into those cards to be able to generate some value with your Rapunzel. So it is a very good card, but man, Ruby Sapphire and Sapphire Steel are just kind of dominating the meta because of the ability to play around this card as well. Sometimes it makes me wish that Amber had more draw power alone in that color pool. I was having a conversation with some guests this weekend at our vendors booth, and they were asking, is Rapunzel ever going to go down in price? And I was saying I don't think so until they release an Amber card that has just as much draw power than Rapunzel, right? So I think that's one of the reasons too why Rapunzel's so expensive. This is really the only card you can play in Amber that can net you like a more than +1 advantage. We do have some extra draw power in that color pool, like Julieta Madrigal or something like that. But Rapunzel is the only card at least I can think of on the top of my head that says like draw more than one, right? And if you like drawing cards, then I recommend you trying out Diablo Devoted Herald this meta. There's a lot of players finding success with Emerald Amethyst, green, purple in their tournaments as well. So that's another good deck that's kind of popping off recently. A lot of people are calling it the Bird deck, or KFC for it's just another nickname for the deck. But yeah, there's a Diablo deck running around because we have the Amethyst Diablo and the Emerald Diablos and the new Dual Ink Emerald Amethyst Diablo. So you have a variety of shift targets for this card, making it very, very playable. You have to respect this card. And also, if you want to protect them from stuff like Storm Ray John, you can play Diablo and move him into the Cove, and now he has 3 willpower instead of 2. Lowest verified for your Diablos are going to be $27 with $1.50 shipping. And then if we keep going by verified sales all the way at the bottom, we're going to have Vendcorp here for $35. So last week we looked at this, and they were hitting close to $30 from like 25 to 30 from all throughout March. And I get the feeling they're going to slowly trickle their way up to $35 again. So if you're able to pick up your Diablos for less than $30, I think that was a really good deal. And as usual with legendaries that have enchanteds, the cold foils aren't too much more expensive than it's a non-foil counterpart. So if you want a cold foil Diablo, you only got to pay $36.99 with $1.50 shipping by Josh Loves Great Cards. But then it jumps to $40 by the card Distraction. So if you want to pick up your Diablos for less than $40 right now, there are some vendors that have it for a little bit cheaper than $40. I think that's a pretty good deal. Diablo definitely still a popular card in the meta. Another very popular card right now is Calhoun, the Marine Sergeant. We looked at this last week, and I was kind of saying that this card might be hitting prices as high as $15. And look at this. We can see this graph just shooting up and up. And today, the lowest verified is going to be all the way at the bottom right here. Little Root Games, $15.75 shipping included. Wow. So Poke Rips right here. Shout out you for having some Calhouns for $13.99 with $1 shipping. So a little bit cheaper than the verified sellers, but personally, the Calhouns are now $15 in my trade binder. Which is not too far off from the cold foil listing price. We have some cold foils listed at $22 with some shipping by SideQuest Cards. Tournament City has them for $24, and they have 4 of them for you, so you can get your whole playset from one seller. If you want to avoid some shipping costs, not too bad. So around $25 for a cold foil Diablo, and $10 less for a not Diablo, Calhoun, and $10 less for a now non-cold foil Calhoun. I want to talk about Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood because these are pretty cheap. We've seen this card range around $30 to $25 in the last couple months or so, and today the lowest verified is going to be $22 by start over. So $22 now for your Robin Hood Champion of Sherwoods. They're less than $25, and the cold foils are going to be $25 on the dot. Adventure Gaming Ohio has them for $24.41 with $125 shipping. Then the Trading Dragon has it for $25.69 for a cold foil Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood. This card also has an enchanted rare, so as you can see the pattern that we always talking about. There's another card that was very popular that's been going down in price. We have the Library, a gift for Belle, a Amethyst Location, going down in price, the cold foil anyway. They used to be closer to $12 at the beginning of March, and today you can find them for as low as $7.84 with shipping included by start over. So around $8 for your cold foil libraries if you want to pick those up right now. They used to be more than $10, so now they're a little cheaper. I want to talk about some meta trending cards that are trending upward, like Cricket, the Lucky Cricket. This card being very powerful in Emerald Amethyst, Emerald Amber, the Chernodog deck, or the Diablo deck, however you're playing it. Throughout January and February, these were less than $2 for cold foils, and today, lowest verified is going to be Pegasus Games with $3.26 and $1.50 shipping. So after shipping, you're paying around $5 each for these cold foil Crickies, which is not too shabby. It's a very good card in the meta, and I'm finally got to see that it's getting the respect it deserves. The Troubadour is a card that's being played in Amber Steel. It's a dual ink color right here, so you have to play it in Amber Steel, and these have been going up little by little in price every week. Lowest verified is only $1.66 with $1.31 shipping, but after these two sellers right here, it immediately jumps to $3 and $1.31 shipping. So we also have some vendors at the bottom that have it for $3.99 with $1.31 shipping. It's getting very close to $5. Not quite there yet. You're still probably paying around $3 for this cold foil, but getting very close to $5. We have Ariel Treasure Collector hitting $5 this week, actually. These were less than $5 at the beginning of March, and because Sapphire is one of the best colors, we're seeing a lot of different Sapphire color cards go up in price if you're trying out these strategies. This card being very, very playable with Lucky Dime, and if you're playing Oswald still, you can maybe play a Lucky Dime for free, which is outrageous. Lowest verified is going to be Crazy Deals. That's them deals right there for $5 with shipping included. Then we have Kmart Cards, who has it for $5.99 shipping included. So around $5 to $6 for your Belle Treasure Treasure Collector. Ariel Treasure Collector. Wrong princess, wrong princess. I want to talk about cold foil Pirates Lives because these have just been coming down in price lower and lower every week or so. They used to be more than $10 for these cold foils, but today, lowest verified is $5 with $1.19 shipping by Lore Whispers TCG. Then we have another listing right here, very close at $7 with shipping included. So around $5 to $7 for your cold foil Pirates Life, which is pretty good because these used to be around $10 to $12 because everybody was playing Ruby Sapphire last format, or maybe you were playing something like Ruby Amethyst Burn last format and you're still playing this Pirates Life card. Let's talk about some sealed product news because we're in the Arcasia's Island format and these booster boxes are still selling for more than $120. Lowest verified today on TCG Player is going to be $134 by ISO Games Inc. The market for these is still showing $122, but if you want to buy them online right now, you're going to have to pay more than that, around $135 for the booster box online on TCG Player. So if you have local game stores that are still selling these for around, let's say, $110, $120, I think that's a really good deal. Personally, it's getting harder and harder to find, for me anyways, to find some sealed cases and sealed boxes of this set because it's so popular. Some of the hits in this set being the Tamatoa Happy as a Clam, still selling for more than $400 for the Enchanted Rare. Lowest verified is going to be 2 pair collectibles for $425. And we do have a couple listings here that range from $420 to $440, almost $450 for this Enchanted Rare Tamatoa. And if you pull this Enchanted Rare, I'm sure you're not disappointed in your booster box openings. So I'm assuming that's why these boxes are still pretty expensive. You know, they have some expensive hits like the Legendaries or the Enchanted Rares. Enchanted Tramp, the Enterprising Dog. Today, the lowest listing is going to be $200, and there's only 2 listings left. Cypher TCG has it for $199 with $1 shipping. Then the mini store has it for $250, shipping included. Looking at the most recent sales, we're seeing this card definitely sell for more than $100. We have all these that sold for $100, completely gone from the market now. And these were all sales that happened yesterday and the day before. 115, 116, 104, 105, 112. So now you're gonna have to pay at least $200 if you want your Enchanted Tramp Enterprising Dog. Going by TCG Player standards, if you can find this on eBay or in your local area for still that $100 price, I think that's really good. And we do have some other Enchanted Rares that are shooting up in price, like the Stitch Rockstar promo. This is technically an Enchanted Rare, but it's also a promo. This is from the first Store Championship series that ever happened in Lorcana. It's about a year old already, which is crazy. So if you won some of these and you held on to them, they're shooting back up to $500. When these first came out, people were really selling these for like $700. So it's not the all-time high as it was, but lowest verified is now going to be around $485 for a PSA 9, $490 for another PSA 9, and then Play to Win Games has the lowest verified raw for $500. Then it jumps up to $600 because there's not that many listings available. So if you have these in your arsenal, maybe hold on to them. It's looking like there are some recent sales happening as well. This was $399 on March 26th, and then on March 14th, $399, $399. So all the recent sales are $400. But if you want a raw Stitch Rockstar promo right now, you're gonna have to pay at least $499. And some Enchanted Rares even coming down in price this week. Maui Hero to All. Check out this graph. These were around $250 to $270 for the longest time. And today, the lowest verified, you're gonna find it at $226 by Legendary Game Store. Recent sales data is showing that some people are buying these for even cheaper. We have a sale for $225, one for $112. That might have been a Japanese one though, because you can find the Japanese Enchanted Rares now on TCG Player as well. But these are definitely selling for less than $250 in the most recent weeks. $215, $230, $216. So Maui Hero to All coming down in price to around $225. If you have these, they're no longer $250. One of the big decks this format is going to be the Amber Emerald Chernadog deck. It uses Lady and the Tramp and Chernabog Evildoer right here to kind of be able to play this card as quickly as possible. And it's one of the few decks that can play multiple Chernabog Evildoer, right? So this card comes as a super rare. It's also an Enchanted Rare, and the Enchanteds, I think, are starting to see a little bit more popularity in the most recent weeks. We have some sales. Just yesterday alone, we have 5 sales yesterday alone for an Enchanted Chernabog Evildoer, and these are all sitting at $79, $75-ish. So this card's been sitting at $80 for a very long time, maybe even a little bit less. And lowest verified today is going to be $82. Then it jumps to around $85 by Extreme Games, Lounge TCG. Shout out you guys. And it's not at $90 yet or $100, but like I was saying, a very popular card in the meta, and it's an Enchanted Rare. So I wouldn't be surprised if this Enchanted Rare starts to see more and more sales as the weeks go on, because there's not that many other decks you can play than Sapphire, and the yellow-green Chernabog deck is one of those decks. And if you've been holding on to your Dragonfire DLC promos, these are coming down in price. These used to sell for $50, $40, but today, lowest verified, we have many, many listings selling at $31.59. And I think that's a really good deal because people are actually playing Dragonfire in their deck nowadays. So it's kind of ironic to see it come down in price when people are playing this card. But lowest verified today is going to be $31.59 by Fork Emporium. And all these recent sales are showing that this card is selling for $30 easy. $32, $30, even some selling for $29.99 in the last couple weeks, right? So if you have your Dragonfire promos, they're a little bit cheaper than they used to be. And if you didn't get to go to any DLCs last year, maybe pick up some of your Dragonfire promos right now, because the only way to get these was to attend a Disney Lorcana challenge, and we haven't had any announcements for them anytime soon. So I don't know if we're going to be getting these back. Will these be the promos going forward? Who knows? Who knows? But all I know is that this card is coming down in price. And before we call it a day, my Lorcana Goons, I want to go over some slab information, some PSA Lorcana information that I've been keeping up with. We have a recent sale on March 30th for a D23 Elsa. This is the D23 promo that was released in 2022. A PSA 10 selling for $6,766 off of 21 bids. Very, very interesting. I know the last time we saw this, it was around $7,000. And we also have some other sales happening for D23 stuff. We have an entire collection, an entire BGS 9 D23 collection from 2022, by the way, selling for $9,000. So a little bit less than $10,000. It was a single bid auction, best offer accepted at $9,000, but they're all BGS 9 Beckett 9, which is really interesting. No PSAs, just BGS 9. So I wonder what the seller's going to do with these. I wonder if this is like for a personal collection, or maybe even crack the slabs and send them to PSA and try and get some PSA 10s out of those, right? We also have another raw 6 ungraded the D23 collection selling on March 23rd for $5,555. So good to see that there's still some interest in these D23 collectible promos, but I do feel like this is pretty cheap for a set of 9s, but they're not PSA 10, so I can understand that, right? And speaking of PSA 10s, this is our PSA Mondays part of the video, and we're looking at some PSA 10 Disney Lorcana cards. Right here we have a sale for $500 for a PSA 10 Wayward Sorcerer. This is from the first chapter, and it's actually looking like it's signed. It's an autograph 10 as well, signed by the artist right there. Pretty cool. Another autograph, we have a PSA 10 Auto 10 Enchanted Elsa signed by the artist Matthew right here. Going to be selling for $3,850. Wow, really cool. And I really enjoy that this has like an illustration of Elsa on the card, so that's really neat to see as well. Yeah, so if you have a PSA 10 Elsa and it's autographed too, it ends up bumping up the price a decent amount, because I think the last one of the most recent sales for a PSA 10 Elsa was around $1,500 to $1,600. So this is pretty much more than double the price by having an autographed 10 on it, signed by the artist. Some more PSA 10 cards for you. A Ariel Spectacular Singer, also autographed right here with a sketch by the artist. A PSA 10 selling for $125. Best offer accepted. PSA 10 Cinderella from Ursula's Return selling for $187. Not too shabby. And then we also have some Dragonfire promos. PSA 10 Dragonfire promo selling for $73, which is more than double the price now that we're seeing the non PSA slab sell for $30. Ooh, this is a really important one. This is the Cusco Emperor promo, the top 16 foil promo. PSA 10 selling for $3,383. So if you went to Nationals and you finished in top 16, you were awarded this Cusco promo in foil, not non-foil, in foil. And this is a PSA 10 that was sold for $3,000+. So hey man, if you're into competitive Lorcana, this is one of the benefits of topping these national events. And last but not least, we have a Mirabelle promo, PSA 10 selling for $92. This was the Set Champs promo. So if you've been playing your Set Championships at your local game store and you win some of these, maybe consider getting them graded by PSA, because as you can see, the pricing does make a big difference. This card non-graded is around $30 at most, and that's about triple the price if you get it a PSA 10, which is not bad at all. But that's going to be all for this Monday weekly market watch, my Lorcana Goons. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want to show more support to the channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and be part of the Goon Squad community. You can join our Discord link below as well if you want to keep up with the market trends or even some deck list information that we talk about in there. I'm curious to see what you guys think though about the current meta. Do you think Sapphire cards need a ban or an errata in order for us to have a more diverse meta, or do you think we're fine right now? A lot of people are calling to ban Lucky Dime or Flavor Sham or something, so I want to hear your opinions below. And if you continue to open any Arcasia's Island booster boxes, troves, or packs, I just want to say bless the pulls and let us know what you pull as well in the comments. And I also want to know, do you guys like this set? Do you think it should be selling for MSRP, or do you think this set is a little bit overhyped, especially with the talks of a possible errata or ban list, right? But until then, remember to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. My name's Kevin, and we'll see you goons next time.